Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Let's begin our session with recitation of Kitab Al-Fatihah. Alright, our topic today is still on the bacteria gram-negative, which is for under the topic bacteria 4. Remember that we are last week actually we was having a session bacteria gram negative untuk apa ni some selected bacteria and now kita belajar beberapa lagi lah, okay, the rest of the gram negative bacteria, right? Okay, okay, so if you still remember that the one that I highlight in pink and in pink, we are already been taught last week, okay, Enterobacter, Neisseriae, Capsula, Proteus, Salmonella, Shigella, Yersinia, Pseudomonas, and Acinetobacter. And then today we are going to have the one that I highlighted in yellow, all right? Helicobacter, Legionella, Haemophilus, Neisseriae, Brucella, Treponema, Rickettsia, Vibrios, Francisella, Leptospira, Bordetella, and Campylobacters. Alright, kita pergi sedikit lah. Alright, I hope you still remember this slide that I have that I showed you last week. We still need to remember this because we are still now in gram-negative bacteria. Okay, as well as this one. Okay, type of flagellate arrangement. Whether it is a monotricious, pilopotricious, amphitrychous, peritricious, or ampulopotricious. So please get rid of it. All right. So our next species of bacteria gram-negative is Vibrio. All right. So Vibrio mostly are associated with gastrointestinal illness, and they are carried by marine animals such as fish, crab, prawn, shellfish. Sometimes apa ni host belangkas tu apa horseshoe crab makanan laut lah biasanya, right? So yang pertama kita ada some of the strain. Okay, yang pertama adalah Vibrio cholera. Vibrio cholera is a causative agent of cholera, which is taun, penyakit taun is cholera. The second one is Vibrio parahemolyticus. Vibrio parahemolyticus is associated with Kanagawa phenomenon, which is they are isolated from human host. And then if you grow it on blood agar, they will form an hemolytic zone on the blood agar. Okay, and then also can be isolated from non-hemolytic. Kalau dia hemolytic dalam pada blood agar, they are actually isolated from human host. Tapi kalau dia tak form not hemolytic, they are actually isolated from non-human source. So basically, hemolytic zone of on the blood agar dia adalah daripada human host. Okay, and the third species is Vibrio vulnificus. All right, commonly in warm climates and small little outbreak, and most of the diseases are associated with eating raw shellfish. Okay. There are two serogroups of Vibrio cholera. Okay, we are going to touch about Vibrio cholera saja because actually ini yang biasa berlaku dekat Malaysia. Okay, they can cause cholera. Okay, so frequently been reported. Okay, especially in negeri Kelantan lah biasanya. Two serogroup of Vibrio cholera. Okay, number one serogroup of 01 serogroup of Vibrio cholera, which is they can cause a majority of the outbreaks. And the second serogroup is 0139, which is they are first identified in Bangladesh in 1992, and later they were just confined and spread to the Southeast Asia, SEA. All right. That when we talk about the several group of Vibrio cholera. But when we talk about the biotypes of Vibrio cholera, they have two types also, okay? Classical biotype and L4 biotype. Classical biotypes in India and Bangladesh, but basically happen in India and Bangladesh, and now become quite rare to be reported, okay? And the third one, the second one is L4 biotype, which is frequently reported sekiranya dia berlaku, dilaporkan memang jika berlaku Vibrio cholera nowadays basically biasanya L4 biotype sekarang ni, because the second biotype classical biotype ni dah sekarang dah jadi rare. Alright. Okay, another thing about biotypes of Vibrio cholera ni, every biotype has two distinct serotype pula. Now we talk about serotype, alright? Each biotype has two distinct serotype, which is the one is the first one is Inaba serotype, the second one is Ogawa serotype, alright? Symptoms are indistinguishable between those two, Inaba and Ogawa, and also between L4 biotype infected. And that is why L4 biotype infected people remain asymptomatic or only mild illness, right? So basically, those yang having L4 biotype infected people, they akan remain asymptomatic, okay? Dan sehinggalah simptom itu keluar dalam tempoh beberapa tempoh tertentu, okay? Cholera is an acute diarrhea infection caused by ingestion of Vibrio cholera contaminated food or water, most commonly acquired from contaminated drinking water, and it's up about 5 million cases with 100,000 to 120,000 deaths per year. Okay, so setiap tahun kematian ini 100 up to 120,000 kematian. Okay. Basically potential outbreak berlaku kerana due to dia punya incubation period adalah sekejap saja, within 2 hours saja. So once you makan ataupun makan makanan yang tak berapa masak, or you drink the water contaminated with Vibrio cholera, after 2 hours you akan dapat simptom tu. Alright, and then within 2 hours anything can happen to other people. Okay, they might eating or drinking the same source. And that is why the Vibrio cholera is easily to get to cause an outbreak. Okay, no early sign and symptom, which is 75% are asymptomatic. Therefore, bacteria increases back to environment. Okay, dia ada peluang untuk kembali ke environment dan dia akan infect the others. Alright, so that is the dangerous about Vibrio cholera. Alright, they have a toxin, cholera toxin. Okay, yang menyebabkan watery diarrhea, okay, diarrhea yang keluar banyak air instead of najis, okay. So sometimes watery diarrhea caused by Vibrio cholera, kita refer it as rice water stool. Rice water stool tu is something that macam air bancuhan beras tu, air beras yang you basuh sebelum nak basuh tu dia warna putih, dia warna keruh putih macam tu. So sekali tengok rice water stool tu sama seperti watery diarrhea pada seseorang pesakit kolera, sakit taun. So dia bukannya najis, dia najis tapi tak nampak najis, dia air warna putih. Alright, kita panggil dia rice water stool. Alright, sign and symptom is abdominal cramp, dehydration, thirst, sunken eyes, and so on. Okay, so you get rid of the sign and symptom. Alright, so see the how does it look like? Okay, the rice water stool macam ni. Actually, this is a stool. Alright, this is a stool. Alright, so and then ini adalah under microscope electron. If you look at the Vibrio cholera, dia agak berbentuk koma macam tu. Koma shape. Okay, dia tak berlurus, dia bentuk koma shape macam tu. Macam awak bengkokkan sedikit awak punya hot dog. Okay, and then kalau tengok bawah gram staining, okay, actually they have a flagella at one of the pole. Okay, you must remember what type of the flagella it is. Alright, tengok semula dia ada satu saja flagella pada salah satu hujung tu. Okay, so remember what type of the flagella. Alright, All right, the pathogenicity and pathology. Okay, so what happened is that if water is the vehicle of the Vibrio chlorella, that Vibrio chlorella must contain 1,000 million cells to be infected, and bacteria susceptible to the acid in the stomach, and people on medication with decreased stomach acidity susceptible to this infection. Okay, if the food is a vehicle for Vibrio chlorella, so you need only 100 to 1,000 Vibrio cells saja to be infected. So in other words, infectious dose for Vibrio cholera is uh, more dangerous in the food rather than in water, because in water you need to have a lot numbers of Vibrio cholera cell, which is 1,000 million cells. Tetapi sekiranya makan food yang telah tercemar with Vibrio cholera, you only need to only 100 cells saja untuk di initiate infection dalam perut awak. So that is very orang kata crucial lah, very important for you to know lah. Alright. So this slide is just want to show you the fact that how Vibrio cholera can affect the body. Okay, how they spread. I want you to read it. All right, how they spread, and then the treatment in what happened in the large intestine, and then how they can produce the toxin, and what the effect that the patient will get from the release toxin yang dikeluarkan oleh Vibrio cholera. Yeah? All right. So how cholera cause severe illness? So RWS, rice water stool, akan menyebabkan diarrhea, and then you lost up to 20 to 30 liter body fluid per day. So dalam masa sehari awak boleh kehilangan up to 20 liter. Alright, kata ke 30 liter body fluid. Jadi very very severe dehydrated. Alright, so satu botol mineral yang besar tu 1.5 liter. So agak-agak berapa botol awak kehilangan up untuk mencecah 20 to 30 liters. So, okay, it's very bad. Okay, very very severe, and then it leads to dehydration, and then low blood supply to the tissue, and bila low blood supply to the tissue menyebabkan shocking. Alright, bila shock, there akan increase of the acid in the body fluid, and it will lead to acidosis. When body fluid akan menjadi acidosis, itu menyebabkan kematian pada seseorang tu lah. Alright, so cholera kalau you tak rawat cepat-cepat within 24 hours to 48 hours, dia akan mati. Okay, kalau doktor tersalah diagnose, it's very very dangerous. Alright. Diagnosis and treatment. Okay, diagnosis to and sort sample in acute stage before any antibiotic was given. Okay, so it's most useful specimen, and then you can do rapid dipstick test against Vibrio cholera. If positive, you need to put the test against antibiotic resistant. And then treatment, basically kita bagi rehydration therapy and also supplement of zinc and potassium electrolyte. Antibiotic biasanya the first line drug is doxycycline, dan itulah first line drug. Kalau tidak pun kita bagi erythromycin, tetracycline, chlorobenzidine, and TMB SMX. Prevention straightforward if proper sanitation are practiced, and also you need to whatever you drink and cook, you must cook very properly, very proper, and cook properly lah. Alright. And then you might, in terms of prevention, you might do sterilization seperti chlorine and bleach, and then on sewage you might have to add up some chlorine, ultraviolet, and also ozone. Okay. And then water purification process such as chlorination, filtration, and also disinfection. All right. The second bacteria is Campylobacter. All right. So there are one special species that can lead to the Campylobacteriosis, which is Campylobacter jejuni. All right. Campylobacter jejuni is the main cause of bacterial foodborne disease and gastroenteritis. Okay, sign and symptom dia adalah blood diarrhea, vomiting, abdominal pain, nausea, fever, and more, lain-lain symptoms lah. Okay, actually Campylobacteriosis is a systemic disease. Okay, so they lead to the complications such as bacteremia, which is the bacteria can penetrate and enter to your blood circulation. And then they can cause hepatitis, pancreatitis, and miscarriage. pada those here who are among the pregnant. And then mode of transmission, including contaminated food, drinks, and dairy products. And then Campylobacter jejuni will multiply in the small intestine, and then they invade epithelium and bloodstreams. And from there, they will produce inflammation. Okay, the Campylobacter jejuni having several virulence factors, which is among them is flagella, one of the virulent factors. Of course, flagella adalah the instrument for them to for mortalities. Okay, so that easy for them to invade the host cell barriers. LPS, remember, okay, lipopolysaccharide, okay, the structures of LPS, okay, don't forget about it. Always remember about LPS, okay, for adherence to the host cell, and also they have a toxins. We call it as cytolydal distending toxin. All right. So okay, this is how this pictures is showing you that how you can get the Campylobacter jejuni. Okay, seperti contoh chicken product apa ni tenusu. Okay, here you can see the raw grade A raw milk. Okay, so raw milk is something that unpasteurized lah. So be careful when you want to consume any milk. Okay, make sure dia adalah apa ni pasteurized milk, okay, to be consumed. Okay, then diagnosis is made by testing a specimen of feces. Okay, there is a most reliable test. Treatment, okay, some set of the antibiotic can be used. Dehydrated among children is very critical, so that basically kita akan bagi intravenous or oral of the fluid, such as rehydration salt lah. Okay, and then kita bagi the minerals as also supplement yang lain. Mineral tu basically zinc and dan juga sodium. Prevention is based on good hygiene. Okay, so similarly like just cholera. Okay, prevention is also same, straightforward if proper sanitation are practiced. All right. Helicobacter. Okay, Helicobacter is quite orang kata interesting. Okay, because in terms of the morphology is quite different. All right. We have one species, a very common species, which is Helicobacter pylori. Okay, previously kita panggil dia Campylobacter pylori, which was first identified in 1982, okay, by Australian scientists, which is Barry Marshall and Robin Warren. So what happened is that they present in the person, this Helicobacter pylori present in person who suffered with chronic gastritis and gastric ulcer. All right. What happened is that H. pylori will harbor in the upper gastrointestinal tract, and mostly will be reported in the developing country, negara-negara yang sedang membangun seperti Malaysia juga. Alright. Berbentuk helical shape, okay, but it's convert to the coccus, okay, which is pada untuk peringkat coccus atau morphology coccus, awak boleh nampak melalui mikroskop, tetapi awak tidak boleh culture dalam lab. Alright. So basically yang awak boleh itu adalah helical shape lah, yang berbentuk seperti helikopter. That is why kita panggil dia Helicobacter pylori. Alright. It's contain one of the many enzymes actually, but one of it is hydrogenase. Okay, hydrogenase is used to obtain the energy by oxidizing hydrogen produced by other bacteria in the intestinal tract. All right. So other than that, they also produce oxidase, catalase, and urease. So meaning that if you want to do a laboratory test on Helicobacter pylori and you hope that you will give you a positive result, make sure you do oxidase, catalase, urease, and hydrogenase. Sebab semua ni adalah enzim-enzim yang terkandung di dalam Helicobacter pylori. So if you want to run those tests, you can expect that the result will be positive. Alright. They have 4 to 6 leprotitious flagella. Ingat balik, okay, diagram yang awal-awal tadi macam mana bentuk leprotitious flagella. So because of that, they are highly motile. Alright. So leprotitious flagella tu adalah pada satu kutub tu dia ada banyak. Okay, dalam 4 ke 6 flagella. So setiap kali dia berputar, setiap kali dia mau bergerak, dia berputar macam helikopter. Because dia berada dalam perut awak, okay, dalam perut awak banyak air, okay, dan asid, okay. So dia basically akan menggunakan flagella tu, dia berpusing macam helikopter, macam apa pillars kapal tu lah, okay, macam kipas kapal, okay. Dia berpusing je, kapal tu bergerak ke depan, boat tu bergerak ke depan. It's something like that, alright. Virulent factors dia adalah adhesin or antigen cytotoxin A, which is VAC-A, and 2 copolymerized flagellin, iaitu FLA-A and FLA-B. Alright, itu adalah virulent factors. Pathophysiology, okay, H. pylori use flagella to burrow the stomach mucous lining to avoid the acidic condition in the stomach. So they will reach epithelial cell and underneath. So maknanya kat sini, sekiranya the environment in the stomach is too acidic for them, terlalu berasid, alright. So Helicobacter pylori dia akan gunakan flagella itu untuk burrow, okay, dia akan mengorek stomach mucous lining tu, okay, dan dia menyorok di dalam tu untuk dia mengelakkan acidic condition tu, alright. So what happens is that once dia akan bawa ke dalam your stomach mucous lining, sometimes they will reach to epithelial cell and di bawah lebih pada itu. So di situlah akan menyebabkan berlaku ulcer dalam perut. Alright, so from there you can have an ulcer yang menyebabkan you akan rasa pedih ulu hati. Alright, so that is the reason why sometimes you makan dah okey dah, okay, makan benda-benda yang kata berzat, tetapi because you makan something yang terlalu berasid, okay, so Helicobacter pylori tu actually dia akan try to kata avoid the acidic condition dan dia akan breach your epithelial cell lah. So they are able to sense pH gradient in stomach and mucus, satu proses yang kita panggil chemotaxis. Chemotaxis meaning to say that the ability of the bacteria to sense the perubahan pH. Alright? Kalau tak pH pun perubahan kandungan unsur elemen-elemen kimia, chemical elements dalam persekitaran dia. So dia boleh able to send the gradient tu. So itu kita panggil chemotaxis. Alright? They produce high concentration of urease because this urease akan break down the urea sebagai enzyme. Okay, dia akan break down the urea in the stomach and then dipecahkan to carbon dioxide and also ammonia. So the product of ammonia will then neutralize the stomach acid. So untuk nak memastikan kepekatan pH yang tinggi pada perut host itu kembali ke peringkat normal ataupun neutral, okay, dia akan break down urea yang berada dalam perut itu dengan menggunakan enzim urease yang tinggi yang dia boleh produce. So urea tu akan dipecahkan menjadi carbon dioxide and ammonia. So ammonia tu akan digunakan, yang dihasilkan tu akan digunakan untuk neutralize balik pH condition yang ada dalam stomach. Alright, pH condition pada stomach acid yang berada dalam perut tu. It's very, orang kata strategic lah for them, okay, to orang kata nak avoid the punya condition tu. They also have adhesin, alright, which is they use to bind to the lipid and also carbohydrate in epithelial cell membrane. Epithelial cell damage akan menyebabkan fatty ulcer and 5% of them akan menyebabkan risk for the acquiring stomach cancer. Alright, saya kata dah tadi, okay, because of they able to reach your epithelial cell and also underneath of that, so you akan probably akan dapat fatty ulcer. And then the colonization of Helicobacter pylori in the stomach also can cause chronic gastritis. So this is the condition on how stomach which fatty ulcer can occur. Normal stomach macam biasa, okay, you have a duodenum, body of the stomach, pylorus, fundus. So stomach with ulcer, okay, kadang-kadang kan katakanlah ulcer kita bentuk di sini. Kalau you enlarge this situation into this diagram, what happen is that Helicobacter pylori will damage protective mucus layer. This is protective mucus layer, alright. So bacteria colonize in the stomach mucosa. Okay, lama kelamaan kalau keadaan mucus layer ini terlalu beraksid, okay, so acid pass through weaken mucus layer causing the ulcer. Dia masuk sampai ke dalam, okay. Sometimes dia boleh pergi kepada epithelial cell and sometimes dia boleh pergi sampai ke connective tissue. Sekiranya dia hanya setakat di stomach mucosa is still okay. But kalau dia penetrate up to the epithelial cell yang menyebabkan ulcer, that is orang kata kemunculan ataupun berlakunya peptic ulcer dekat situ. Alright, so it's very dangerous. Okay. Next, we have Haemophilus. So Haemophilus, kita ada dua species dekat sini. Okay, very orang kata obvious species. Okay, that we always been exposed. Number one is Haemophilus influenza, and number two is Haemophilus ducreyi. Haemophilus influenza can cause meningitis. It is a normal flora, but can also menyebabkan respiratory tract infection, and also can cause acute otitis media and sinusitis. Alright. Manakala Haemophilus ducreyi akan menyebabkan chancroid. Chancroid adalah jenis penyakit sexual transmitted infection. Alright. So kita pergi kepada Haemophilus influenza, okay, formerly known as Bacillus influenza. Most strains are opportunistic pathogen, Bacillus influenza, but they can trigger a problem when other factors create an opportunity. So kita ada sejenis Haemophilus type B, okay, or HIB. They will enter your bloodstream and menyebabkan bacteremia, meningitis, pneumonia, and also epiglottitis. So jarang-jarang sekali, occasionally they can cause cellulitis, osteomyelitis, and also infectious arthritis. Alright. So ada jenis strain iaitu Haemophilus influenza yang boleh encapsulated, okay, yang boleh menghasilkan kapsul, okay. So bila Haemophilus influenza yang jenis encapsulated tu, dia basically akan terlindung daripada HIV vaksin, okay. Haemophilus influenza B vaksin, okay. Dia tidak akan terjejas because dia akan sudah membentuk kapsul di sekeliling sel dia. Alright. So because of that, encapsulated Haemophilus influenza akan menyebabkan otitis or otitis media, conjunctivitis, and also sinusitis. Alright, mostly in the children. Sign and symptom basically fever, cough, tightness of breath, chills, sweating, chest pain, muscle pain, headache, and also sometimes excessive tiredness. Alright, so that is Haemophilus influenza. Okay, so if you look at this diagram, here is the normal middle ear, which is you ada eardrum, gegendang, okay, auditory bones kat sini, and then the eustachian tube. Okay, this is a normal condition of the middle ears bagi seseorang yang normal, alright. But in infected otitis media yang disebabkan oleh HIV, apabila if you look at this eardrum, dah dapat inflammation dah dekat sini. So jadi merah-merah kat sini, okay, because of that dia akan di ruang pembentukan auditory bones and eustachian tube ni akan menghasilkan akan terkandung infected fluid, alright, dekat sini ya. So that is why daripada telinga ni akan pergi kepada saluran otitis apa semua tu. Dan that is why daripada situ you akan dapat sinusitis apa semua tu, resdung dan sebagainya, sebab semuanya akan bersambung terus ke saluran di bahagian otorinolaryngology. This is the condition where Haemophilus, on how Haemophilus influenza type B can cause you meningitis, meningitis lah, influenza, okay. And meningitis juga boleh berlaku di kawasan kepala ni. Kalau perasan ni bahagian pandangan daripada atas kepala, tempurung dia ni sudah pun dia tebuk, and then this is the saluran meninges. Ini adalah otak, ini adalah kulit yang dilipat ke bawah, kulit kepala yang dilipat ke bawah. Ini tempurung kepala, selaput meninges, ini adalah otak. Alright, arthritis, keradangan pada sendi lutut, okay, juga disebabkan oleh HIV. Alright. Diagnosis, you can use a lab, it is a latex particle agglutination test, also gram staining, okay, PCR, of course, oxidase and catalase. If you run oxidase and catalase test on the specimen, you get positive if that specimen is contaminated or contain the HIV. Alright. Bacterial culture on chocolate agar, okay, can be performed. And what happened? Okay, you observe convex, pale, smooth, and gray, also gray or transparent colony, okay, pada chocolate agar. Treatment, okay, ampicillin, cephalosporin, and cefotazine, alright. Prevention, HIV vaccine. Okay, HIV vaccine ni basically kita akan bagi pada children under 5 years old, and also you have a pentavalent vaccine. Pentavalent vaccine ni adalah selepas ni awak akan dengar lagi perkataan pentavalent vaccine, because pentavalent vaccine ni adalah satu jab atau satu suntikan vaksin yang digunakan untuk awak prevent 5 penyakit sekali arung. Alright, which is diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, hepatitis B, dan HIP yang kita belajar sekarang. Alright, hepatitis B saya rasa akan awak belajar ataupun awak sudah pun belajar. Saya rasa kalau tak salah Dr. Intan akan ajar awak ataupun Dr. Arifin, I don't know. Tetanus kita dah belajar, remember Clostridium tetani. Alright, I think last week, which is ataupun last 2 weeks kita dah belajar Clostridium tetani under topic Clostridium, okay. Pertussis, diphtheria kita akan belajar, alright, pada lepas ini. So once you get one jab of pentavalent vaccine, alright, you will be prevented against these 5 types of disease, alright, diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, hepatitis B, and HIV. Alright, so of course harganya pun mahal juga lah kalau you pergi private, because they protected against 5 types of disease. Okay. Kalau HIV vaksin tu bukan untuk HIV saja, tetapi HIV vaksin tu under 5 years old tu memang ada di klinik-klinik kesihatan dan memang diberi free lah, okay, because itu memang wajib dan terkandung dalam program imunisasi kebangsaan. Okay, Bordetella kita akan belajar tentang pertussis. This one, so ini adalah Bordetella. Okay, so ia adalah very pathogenic, okay, dia akan menyebabkan sejenis penyakit, we call it as pertussis. Sometimes we refer it as whooping cough, or in Malay batuk kokol. If you heard about batuk kokol, okay, in English is whooping cough, okay, whooping cough. In scientific language, we call it is pertussis caused by Bordetella pertussis. Alright, virulent factors is pertussis toxin or PT, Vibrios, filamentous hemagglutinin, protectin, okay, sejenis toxin, and also tracheal cytotoxin. Mode of transmission is airborne aerosolized droplet. Incubation period, which is 9 to 10 days, basically 6 to 20 days range. So what happens is that after inhalation, okay, Bordetella pertussis akan adhere to the epithelial cells in your nasopharynx and also up in your upper respiratory tract. So once attached, they will release the tracheotoxin, okay, dermonecrotic toxin, or also sometimes adenylate cyclase toxin. So because of that, those toxins akan menyebabkan damage to the local tissues. Alright. Sign and symptoms similar seperti common cold, okay, you will get a runny nose, sneezing, mild cough, okay, with whooping sound. Whooping sound tu is something that bila you batuk macam mana saya nak berlakon pun tak pandai. Whooping cough tu dia baca bunyi seperti whoop whoop macam anjing tu. Pernah dengar tak? Okay, budak-budak lah especially-nya lah okay. Dia batuk tetapi sekali batuk tu dia keluar macam bukan menyalak macam anjing, dia macam woof woof macam tu. That's why kita panggil whooping sound. Saya pun tak pandai nak bunyi macam mana. Cuba awak perasan okay? Nanti kalau balik rumah kampung, memang kat rumah dah pun sekarang. Kalau awak dekat kampung nampak ada baby lah okay? yang apa ni yang ada batuk seperti itu, cubalah dengan ilmu yang dapat hari ini, cuba tanya, ada dapat tanya mak dia, ada dapat suntikan imunisasi untuk Bordetella pertussis tak? Okay, pentavalent tadi, pentavalent vaccine. Okay, kalau tak ada, kemungkinan dia terdedah dengan penyakit ini. Alright. And then they are very highly contagious at 2 weeks after onset if untreated. So basically apa yang berlaku adalah Bordetella pertussis ni it's not really happen kepada baby saja because dia adalah airborne droplet. So what happen adalah apabila baby tu memang confirm ada Bordetella pertussis tanpa diketahui oleh mak dia, dan mak dia pula selalu mendokong dia atas okay, dada bila menyusukan baby guna breastfed atau semua tu. So sometimes mak dia pun boleh terdedah, okay, because Bordetella pertussis, okay, it's not just kita tengok sini, it's not just for your kids only, okay. Bordetella pertussis, whooping cough also can be infected by orang tua, especially mak dia, alright. So basically kalau baby tu akan dapat whooping cough, okay, sebelum baby tu nak cough tu nampak sangat muka dia tu macam terseksa sikit nak keluarkan batuk tu. Alright, seksanya dia nak keluarkan batuk, sampaikan mulut dia jadi macam tu. Kerana mulut jadi macam tu, dia keluar sound whooping tu. Alright, so that is very dangerous. Alright, gambaran dekat sini pula menunjukkan bahawa once you get infected with whooping cough, it can be transmitted by airborne. So siapa-siapa saja boleh terdedah. Alright, so that is why whooping cough adalah penyakit yang boleh kita cegah melalui imunisasi, dan imunisasi whooping cough ini biasanya terkandung dalam pentavalent vaksin tu yang memang you akan dapat di klinik kesihatan lah, okay, because dia terkandung dalam jadual program imunisasi kebangsaan. Okay, diagnosis, you will get oxidas positive, urease, citrate, nitrate, reductase adalah negatif. Nasopharyngeal and oropharynx swab, it can be cultured pada jenis agar yang special, kita panggil bordet gonjour. Alright, bordet gonjour agar, okay, dan bila you culture it and you do gram staining, of course dia adalah gram negative. Okay, antibody test for LGG, LGM, LGA terhadap pertussis toxin. You also can test by ELISA and real-time PCR. Treatment, cephalosporin, okay, prevention macam tadi. Okay, prevention selain daripada pentavalent vaccine yang saya kata tadi, which is you can be protected by diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, hepatitis B and HIV macam yang kita dah belajar tadi. Itu pentavalent because ada 5 disease. You also can get in hospital adalah DPT vaccine. DPT vaccine ni adalah 3 penyakit saja. Diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus. 3 yang pertama ni saja. Because ramai orang dia tidak berapa suka pentavalent vaccine because pentavalent vaccine ni dia vaksin yang bergabung untuk mencegah bakteria dengan virus sekali, seperti hepatitis B ni. Okay, Macam ini bakteria, diphtheria bakteria, pertussis bakteria, tetanus bakteria. Kita belajar tadi Haemophilus influenza B bakteria, tapi hepatitis B ni adalah virus. So basically orang tak apa suka pentavalent vaksin. Pertama because of mahal. Okay, yang kedua keberkesanan tu biasanya diragui because apa ni dia tidak spesifik, sama ada dia spesifik kepada bakteria saja ataupun virus saja atau kedua-duanya sekali. Tapi orang lebih suka DPT vaksin because 3 disease yang dicegah ni, okay, diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus adalah semuanya bakteria. So basically kita akan bagi kepada children 5 years old lah. Alright. So sering kali dia I ask in the question in the exam for the past batch of apa ni program biomed students, apa perbezaan DPT vaksin dengan pentavalent vaksin, okay? So mereka agak terkeliru. Kalau DPT ni mereka okey boleh jawab D diphtheria, P pertussis, T tetanus. Tapi pentavalent ni dia tak boleh nak jawab 5-5 tu, okay? Because pentavalent tu agak keliru, okay? So saya sering juga tanya soalan. So I hope by now you can differentiate between DPT and pentavalent vaccine, okay? Okay, next we have Neisseriae. Alright. Neisseriae, one thing about the morphology of Neisseriae adalah dia berbentuk coffee bean shape. Nampak tak bentuk dia ni? Seperti biji kopi. Okay. Okay, so that is why kita panggil diplococci. Okay, coccus yang berkembar, diplo. Alright. So two main species of the Neisseriae, which is Neisseriae gonorrhea and Neisseriae meningitis. Alright, Neisseriae gonorrhea akan menyebabkan penyakit sejenis gonococcus, no capsule, mostly have plasmid and also can cause gonorrhea. Gonorrhea adalah sejenis penyakit STI, okay, sexual transmitted infection. And then Neisseriae meningitis menyebabkan penyakit meningococcus, menyebabkan penyakit meningitis, alright. Sejenis meningococcus, okay, have polysaccharide capsule. This one no capsule. Gonorrhea tak ada capsule, okay. Meningitis ada capsule. They rarely have a plasmid and also can cause bacterial meningitis, alright. So please be note that gonococcus and meningococcus are almost related about 75% DNA morphology. Homology dia sama, DNA homology dia sama up to 75%. So gonococcus and meningococcus of Neisseriae gonorrhea and Neisseriae meningitis adalah almost sama 75% similarities. Alright, so this is on how you can observe it under microscope after gram staining. Alright, gonorrhea. Can we take file sekejap, boleh tak?
Boleh, doktor.
Boleh? Saya terpaksa pergi pejabat sekejap.
Oh, okey.
Boleh? Okay, can we continue? Hello?
I think that there's two
Boleh?
new students that asked to access this session.
Macam mana?
Ada 2 student baru yang baru
Okay.
request. Ada ke doktor?
Sekejap.
Oh tak ada.
Siapa tu? Tak ada notification pun orang yang minta masuk Farah Nasira. Okay. Orang lagi?
Hayati. Sebentar ya doktor. Saya dah suruh dia masuk. Hayati.
Ada lagi? Seorang by the way, bukan awak punya batch ni ada international student tu yang nama Nurhan tu, bukan
Bukan doktor.
Ada doktor.
Ha?
Kita orang semua Melayu.
Oh. Nurhan tu batch yang berapa saya dah keliru dah saya. Dia tahun 1
Sebab tahun 1 ramai ke ramai ke?
Tahun 1 ada follownya.
Okay. So bukan dalam batch ini lah
Bukan.
Juga sebab
Melayu.
Okay, Hayati, okay. Sebab saya bercampur aduk Melayu English tu supaya mudah faham bila saya nak bagi contoh apa semua kan. So nanti kan dia rasa macam tak sesuai lah pula kan. So it's not in your batch si Nurhan tu no semua Melayu.
Semuanya Malaysia.
Okay. Saya keliru sebenarnya awak, ya Allah. Okay, so boleh saya continue
Boleh doktor, thank you doktor.
Okay. So Neisseriae, the first species is gonorrhea. Okay, Neisseriae gonorrhea. Okay, they can cause gonorrhea by sexual contact. So they can change its surface to avoid the host defense. Surface structure includes they have a pili, which is a Vibrios to attach to host cell. They are the pore protein, okay, which is the extend through the cell membrane to form pores on the host cell surface to allow nutrient into the cells and avoid phagosome lysosome degradation. They also have OPA protein, okay, OPA Ganam style. Alright, OPA protein bukan OPA K-pop tu, bukan. OPA protein, they also need to have it in terms of the attach to the host cell. They also have a protein 3 or RMP, which is reduced modifiable protein, which is associated with pore protein to form pores. Meaning to say that protein 3 or RMP, they cannot work alone. All right, they must associated. They must associate with pore protein yang kita dah beritahu atas tadi untuk dia berbentuk pores. Okay, then barulah dia working together. All right. Okay, then they also have lipo-oligosaccharide, which is caused to the ciliary loss and also mucosal cell death. So this is the diagram on how, if you want to look on how you can imagine the morphology of Neisseriae gonorrhea. Alright. So basically dia adalah berbentuk coffee bean, okay, Diplococcus, dan keseluruhan sel dia tu ada pili of Vibrios. Dia tak ada flagella, okay, dia ada Vibrios saja. Okay, you can culture it in a blood agar, on a blood agar, and this is how does it look like if you culture it and you won't try to subculture it. All right. So pathogenicity, all right, 10% of the male and 80% of the female are asymptomatic. Sorry. Risk in the female, risk in the men boleh menyebabkan prostate cancer, alright. They attack mucous membranes of genital urinary tract and also in the eye, rectum, throat, and then they can produce suppuration, leads to the tissue infection. Okay, they also can lead to the chronic inflammation and fibrosis, which is sejenis production of excess fibrous tissues. And in male, they also can cause urethritis, a painful urination, yellow creamy pus, and also dysuria. In female, okay, in women, okay, they also can lead to the infection of in the cervix, which is up to the extent to the urethra and also to the vagina. If left untreated, okay, they might cause infertility to both male and female. Okay, so Neisseriae gonorrhea ni ada potensi sekiranya awak tak dapat rawatan gonorrhea as sejenis penyakit STD, okay, both female and male pasangan tu akan mandul. Alright, infertilities. Alright. So they also can cause conjunctivitis, mostly in newborns. Okay, other than potentially can cause meningitis as well, pharyngitis, and also urethritis in children and also in adults. Okay, so this is gonorrhea. Alright, in male and also in female. Okay, perhatikan dekat sini ada whitey creamy pus yang keluar daripada salur urethra and also dekat kawasan salur permukaan vagina pada wanita ini. Okay, sometimes boleh berlaku pada bahagian throat. Okay, and also pada baby yang ataupun infant pada mata dia. Alright, so sometimes ini yang kita panggil sebagai ophthalmic gonorrhea. Okay, biasanya pada berlaku pada baby lah. Diagnosis, okay, test for STI testing, okay, including HIV and chlamydia infection to avoid misdiagnosis. Okay, you must remember, once you've been infected with ataupun ada simptom-simptom terhadap STD, you cannot do the test only for the specific disease of STD saja. You must do sekurang-kurangnya 3 jenis STD ataupun 4 jenis STD, because basically sign and symptom of any STD disease adalah sama saja. Alright, so you tak boleh agak, okay, ini gonorrhea ni, ini syphilis ni, ini HIV ni, tak boleh. Alright, so you must run all of the tests for any STI infection, regardless apa cause dia, apa penyebab dia. Okay, mesti run semua sekali untuk nak mengelakkan misdiagnose. Because once you dah positif dan once you dah tahu apa the punca sebenarnya, then barulah doktor akan bagi the right medication for them. Alright, so it's a very important concept in terms of the diagnosis towards STI infection. Alright. So both partners should be screened and tested. Okay, treatment dia basically penicillin, tetracycline, and fluoroquinolones. If Neisseriae gonorrhea is resistant against those 3 drugs, yaitu penicillin, tetracycline, and also fluoroquinolones, so what happens is that the doctor might prescribe the another third generation of cephalosporin, which is kita panggil dia ceftriaxone. Alright. So ceftriaxone, okay, ceftriaxone ni memang digunakan sekiranya those 3 first line drug treatment tu memang resistant, penicillin, tetracycline, dan fluoroquinolones. Dan baru kita bagi ceftriaxone. Alright. Prevention, avoid free sexual activity. Okay, be monogamous. Monogamous tu adalah the words that you use basically to show your loyalty, kesetiaan pada pasangan. Alright, so be monogamous. Alright, so kalau you setia pada pasangan you, kita panggil dia monogamous. You are so monogamous. Alright, dia setia pada pasangan. Okay, dan kalau macam tu, kalau suami beristeri 4, macam mana? Monogamous ke tu? Ridwan, jawab. Nauhan, jawab tu. Jawab Nauhan. So kalau awak beristeri 4, awak nak dikatakan monogamous ke?
Betul doktor, monogamous.
Bukan
Jadi
monogamous. So apa the words yang sesuai kalau awak berisi 4?
tetragomos.
Pandai lah awak tetragomos so whatever lah, okay, tapi basically apa depan baru saya dengar perkataan tetragomos ni. Apa yang saya nak kata dekat sini adalah you need to be monogamous for those who yang kata yang berkahwin secara normal, yang mungkin seorang isteri, okay, apa semua. Of course, pada saya pasangan kekasih tu is not the monogamous lah. Selagi tak kahwin, okay, you tak boleh kata loyal, okay. Secara legalnya, religiousnya, you mesti berkahwin secara sah lah. Then you can have a sexual activity lah for atas dasarnya untuk nak menambahkan zuriat dan sebagainya, because itu adalah sexual intercourse yang dihalalkan dalam Islam. Alright, so that is what kita panggil monogamous. Alright, so saya tak kata berkahwin 4 tu bukan monogamous, dia kalau awak bertindak adil, okay, dan awak hanya melakukan intercourse tu di kalangan awak berempat saja, so still kita kata monogamous juga sebenarnya, because you been loyal to your wife. Alright, so that is the things yang saya nak cakap kat sini. Prevention to avoid free sexual activities, tanpa mengira orang, tanpa mengira kedudukan, okay, dia melahap dia semua sekali. So that is very dangerous. Okay, you need to prevent that things. Alright, and then avoid unprotected sex activities. Infected legal partner, okay, infected legal partner, okay, your partner adalah legal, maybe your wife or your husband, tetapi salah seorang daripada you tu, husband atau wife tu adalah infected. So sekiranya berlaku macam tu, okay, you can use a latex barrier seperti kondom or dental dams, alright, so during intercourse. Ketika proses persenyawaan, sexual activity atau intercourse tu, you need to have condom atau protection with kata latex barrier lah. Kita ada 2 jenis, pertama condom and dental dams. Pernah tahu apa tu dental dams? Okay, dental dams ni biasanya kita tak amalkan di Malaysia, okay, kita tak amalkan dalam Islam, kita tak ada, kita tak gunakan dental dams ni untuk tujuan seksual. Dental dams ni untuk tujuan rawatan pergigian sahaja. Alright, nama pun dental. Okay, tetapi dekat barat, okay, dekat USA, dental dams ni digunakan untuk mereka yang melakukan oral sex. Okay, which is pada saya in Islam, oral sex is sesuatu yang tak boleh diterima lah. Alright, so basically kita akan kenakan kondom sahajalah in terms of kalau infected legal partner tu memang kalau melakukan sexual activities, memang kita akan guna kondom. Somehow dental dams is unethical, saya dah cakap dekat situ. Somehow dental dams is unethical and religiously unpractical for Islamic legality. Okay, so here, kalau pernah pergi klinik gigi, this is dental dam. Alright, yang digunakan untuk nak memastikan bahawa hanya gigi you saja terdedah dengan alat-alat dental instrument macam ini, gusi, lelangit, lidah apa semua tu ditutup dengan dental dam, sejenis rubber. Alright, so tapi ini adalah kempen yang dilakukan oleh orang-orang yang penyokong LGBT dekat di barat. Okay, digunakan dental dam to block STD, which is kita tidak mengiktiraf attitude ini, alright. So that basically we only use this one, okay, condom. If your legal partner, your wife, salah seorang wife ke ataupun wife ke ataupun apa namanya, husband ke mengalami ataupun infected, okay, kita practice guna kondom saja. Alright. Okay, next is Legionella. Okay, Legionella. Sekejap. Okay, Legionella dia punya reservoir dia primarily adalah di aquatic, okay, seperti pada hot water system, air conditioning, cooling towers, evaporated condenser, decorative fountain and also ponds. Alright, bacteria can survive for months at 50 degrees Celsius in the tap, distilled, and chlorinated water. Human can be infected by inhalation of the aerosol. 30% of the hot water system in apartment building in Malaysia were found to contain Legionella. Okay, ini adalah report yang dikeluarkan oleh Ministry of Health pada tahun 2013. So it's quite dangerous and it's quite surprising bila saya tengok this statistic. Alright, 30% of hot water system in the apartment building. Hot water system tu macam shower yang dekat hotel-hotel tu lah. Alright, okay, sebenarnya mengandungi Legionella 30% in Malaysia. So can you imagine that? So be careful kalau you nak guna water heater, shower yang air panas dalam hotel tu, okay, because dia probably can contain Legionella. They required cysteine and iron to thrive, okay. Oxidase catalase positive, and also dia adalah beta-lactamase producer. It could be the major cause of serious case of pneumonia. Alright, so be careful. So source of Legionellosis, penyakit yang disebabkan Legionella, okay. Shower, whirlpool, humidifier, cooling tower, tap water faucet, and then respiratory therapy equipment. Mana-mana yang dealing with water, alright, ada source of water dekat situ, basically Legionella will be there. Okay, shower, cooling system, aircon, okay. Even fountain yang dekat lobby dekat hotel tu pun probably ada. Fountain kura-kura dekat kas tu pun ada. Alright, so basically dekat Kuala Lumpur pun mungkin ada. Kalau pernah pergi jacuzzi, alright, jacuzzi is also can contain Legionella, okay, tap air panas tu. Alright. Legionellosis is a typical pneumonia caused by Legionella pneumophila. Okay, ini adalah one of the species. Okay, Legionella pneumophila. Historically, in July 1976, there are an outbreak of pneumonia among American Legion. Maksudnya Legion ni adalah askar lah. They're attending a convention at the Bellevue Stratford Hotel di Philadelphia, USA. Di mana 29 orang tu didapati mati out of 182 reported cases. So here 182 reported cases di kalangan tentera-tentera Amerika yang berkumpul dekat convention ini, dekat yang berkumpul yang attend convention ni di Bellevue Stratford Hotel Philadelphia ni, 29 orang mati. Alright, daripada 182 orang yang reported cases, daripada yang hadir sebenarnya ramai, mungkin beratus-ratus lagi, tetapi reported case 182, 29 orang mati. Okay, convention ni sebenarnya for information dia diadakan because of dia nak meraihkan kemenangan mereka dalam perang Vietnam, kononnya. But the thing is that pada hakikatnya sejarah telah menyebut perang Vietnam sebenarnya tentera Amerika kalah. Dia nak menang pun, okay, mereka kalah dekat bumi Vietnam tu, alright, tetapi konon-konon dia nak menggahkan tentera mereka adakan convention, alright, dekat hotel tersebut. So that kerana penipuan, tak tahulah Allah punya kuasa, that kerana penipuan dia tu 29 orang mati, okay, because of Legionella pneumophila, alright. So apa yang berlaku adalah mereka sebenarnya yang mati tu ataupun 182 reported case tu, dia telah inhale aircon yang berada dalam bilik convention tu. Okay, aircon yang menyejukkan bilik convention tu telah bocor, okay, dan membuatkan air menitik-nitik. Okay, dari segi history je. So 29 orang mati, because saya tak pasti macam mana dia boleh dedah, tetapi basically macam saya kata kat sini, dia mungkin human can be infected by inhalation of aerosol. Alright, so might be because of dia telah infected, dia telah inhale aerosol yang mengandungi Legionella pneumophila. Alright. Mode of transmission is aspiration of contaminated water or inhalation of the aerosol water and or soil contaminated with bacteria. So macam-macam jenis, macam-macam cara boleh berlaku in terms of mode of transmission, right? It can also be transmitted by direct contact between contaminated water and also surgical wound. Okay, sign and symptoms seperti yang saya nyatakan sini, fever, chills, cough, up to 10 days, okay, dan sebagainya. Can approach up to 50% of as a nosocomial infection as well. Alright, Legionella ni. Of course, because Legionella ni dia boleh melalui apa tangki-tangki air dekat hospital tu juga. So that is why they can also occur as a nosocomial infection. Okay, ini gambar yang telah pernah direkodkan, okay, convention yang saya kata tadi, macam mana askar-askar tu meraihkan kemenangan, so-called kemenangan mereka. So, I don't know, ini adalah di kalangan mangsa kita tak, saya pun tak tahu, okay, tetapi historically memang di situ memang ada penimbunan dan di situlah berlakunya kejadian tu, dan dia di situlah Legionella dilaporkan mula di-identify. Alright. Okay, asymptomatic infection in all of the group. Okay, risk factors: smokers, chronic bronchitis, cancer therapy, immunosuppressive treatment, diabetes mellitus. So, those yang di kalangan golongan mereka ini, smokers, cancer, orang yang mengidap kanser yang sudah melalui terapi, orang yang menggunakan immunosuppressive treatment, pesakit diabetik, semuanya adalah risk factor terhadap penyakit legionellosis. Alright. Okay, diagnosis, you can use IFAC and ELISA, direct detection of bacteria in tissue by fluorescent labeled antibody, and also microagglutination test. And this one is a good treatment. Alright. Treponema. Treponema is another penyakit sexual transmitted disease. Alright. They can cause penyakit yang dinamakan syphilis. Alright, biasa dengar syphilis, alright. So actually there are helical spirochete, which is up to 0.5 micrometer diameter times up to 15 micrometer long. They also can cause other STIs seperti pinta, badger, yaws, yang disebabkan oleh Treponema pallidum. Yaws ni disebabkan oleh Treponema pallidum. Kalau jumpa nama yang 3 nama seperti ini, kalau macam Treponema pallidum, ini genus, ini spesies. Kalau kita ada 3 nama macam ini adalah genus, ini adalah spesies, ini adalah subspesies. Alright, so remember that. Alright, Treponema pallidum, kadang-kadang ada pallidum satu lagi kat belakang tu. Okay, bermakna itu adalah genus, lepas tu spesies, lepas tu subspesies. Alright, so yours ini disebabkan oleh Treponema pallidum ataupun kadang-kadang juga disebabkan oleh Treponema caritium. Yours ni bahasa Melayunya orang panggil dia penyakit puru. Pernah dengar puru tak? P-U-R-U. Penyakit puru. Orang zaman
tak pernah.
Tak pernah, sebab awak orang moden sebenarnya. Zaman-zaman datuk nenek awak kita panggil dia puru, yours ni, alright? So kalau rajin tengoklah Google puru tu penyakit apa. Alright. They also can be transplacental to the fetus and then menyebabkan the fetus atau baby tu dapat congenital syphilis. Cytoplasmic, automembrane, and very thin peptidoglycan layer. Okay, of course, thin peptidoglycan layer because we are still now in gram-negative. Alright, gram-negative bacteria. Endoflagella in periplasmic space. Remember dalam di atas daripada peptidoglycan layer sebelum pergi kepada LPS, dia ada periplasmic space dekat situ. Okay, bagi Treponema pallidum, periplasmic space tu ada endoflagella. Dalam periplasmic space tu ada sejenis flagella yang berada di ruang periplasmic itu kita panggil dia endoflagella. So that is why endoflagella, kerana ada endoflagella in periplasmic space, Treponema pallidum is the bacteria with very excellent cruise motions. Alright, so dia boleh bergerak sungguh laju, okay, kerana adanya endoflagella. Okay, they are heavily dependent to its human mammalian host or for nutrients, so hardly for you to culture and propagate in the laboratory. So basically, it's very hard for you to culture and propagate in laboratory for T. pallidum because dia memang memerlukan mammalian host untuk sebagai nutrient. So it's very depending ataupun highly demand in terms of nutrient, right? metabolic capacity is very limited, okay, and then they tend to have a low ability to encode for enzymes, so it is unable to synthesize fatty acid, amino acids, and also nucleotides. So dia satu disadvantage bagi Trichoderma pallidum ni because dia tak ada banyak sangat metabolic capacity. So from there dia tak dapat nak encode banyak enzim. Alright. So this is on how you can see Trichoderma pallidum. Alright, dia punya bentuk dia panjang tetapi spiral, okay, panjang dan spiral, seperti tali telefon zaman dulu. Alright, alright. Ini kalau awak tengok di bawah mikroskop, dark field microscope. Dark field microscope tu adalah mikroskop yang awak sekeliling dia background dia gelap, tapi benda tu boleh nampak putih. Bakteria tu awak dapat guntingkan bentuk spiral macam tu. Okay, so syphilis. They can transplant certainly to fetus during late stage of pregnancy, menyebabkan congenital syphilis. Trichoderma virulence factors masih lagi kita tak dapat tahu, okay, remain unknown, tapi salah satu yang kita percaya adalah kehadiran endoflagellum yang saya kata hadir dalam periplasmic space tadi. One of the virulence factors, okay. Untreated syphilis progress in series, alright. So sekiranya syphilis ini tidak ditreat seawal yang mungkin ataupun dia tak berapa proper, treatment dia tak berapa proper, the progress of syphilis ini boleh berlaku dan boleh dibagikan kepada 4 siri. First, primary, secondary, latent, and tertiary. In primary, ini primary, first ini adalah primary stage. The cockroach mortar through the viscous medium such as mucus akan menyebabkan dia enter the host via breaches in squamous or columnar epithelium, and then they can lead to access into the host blood and lymphatic system. So maknanya dekat sini, Trichoderma pallidum can enter, okay, towards the end they can enter to the blood system and also the lymphatic system, right? So you can imagine once you dah enter your blood system and lymphatic system, bermakna they can go throughout your body. Okay, ke mana-mana saja, termasuk your mata juga. Okay, your orang kata mata lah. Okay. Secondary stage, 3 months after infection, you might experiencing some kind of sign and symptoms such as fever, loss of appetite, loss of weight, and then lesion on skins, and also membranes and rashes on hand, feet, soles, cups, and face. Alright, itu adalah peringkat secondary. Selepas secondary, you might having a latent stage, which is several months after secondary, kalau tak dirawat. Okay, so latent stage ni apa yang berlaku adalah asymptomatic. Okay, you tak dapat kata tanda-tanda tu. Tadi masa secondary tadi tanda-tanda tu boleh timbul, you boleh perasan. Tapi bila dah masuk ke peringkat latent dan you tak dapat lagi rawatan, if it is untreated, you akan jadi asymptomatic. Okay, symptom tu dah berhenti. But T. pallidum is still present in the body. Alright, so because of that, you biarkan saja diri you hidup bersama Trichoderma pallidum dalam body you. Lama-kelamaan masih lagi tak treated, pergi kepada tertiary stage, which is doesn't manifest up to 1 year, and then the effect internal organs seperti CNS, heart, and also bones, dan juga skin, menyebabkan insomnia and personality changes. Ingat saya kata tadi, because dalam primary stage lagi, dia boleh masuk ke dalam blood system and also lymphatic system. So dia boleh pergi mana-mana saja. That is why the effect yang organ kalau you tak treated dari awal. Alright, dia pergi kepada internal organs seperti CNS, heart, bones, and also your skin. Right? So this is syphilis. Alright, yang biasa didapati, yang biasa tengok. So remember, when we talk about syphilis, it doesn't mean that you got the sign and symptom dekat area of your sexual organ sahaja. I know this is you might think that this is sexual transmitted disease. So don't only focus the sign and symptom on the particular area of on your body, seperti your sexual organ. Okay, you might experiencing this sign and symptom throughout your body. Okay, because they can penetrate your blood system and also your lymphatic system. Okay, your eyes, your hand, your palm, feet, semua sekali tu, semua. Alright. Okay, so this is congenital syphilis yang berlaku pada baby, because saya dah kata dia adalah transplacental. Okay, so apa yang boleh nampak pada bahagian kemaluan ataupun sexual organ pada male or female boleh juga berlaku pada lidah, pada mulut, kulit, dan pada tapak tangan. Okay, it can go anywhere on your body. Okay, if untreated. Okay, sebenarnya syphilis is easy for you to recover. Okay, if you detected and aware early as possible. But if you left it untreated, then this is what happened. Okay, basically for a diagnosis, you have to do gram staining and dactylate stain, which is special for Treponema pallidum. You use visible using duct illumination under light microscope. Okay, you're gonna light microscope, but you have to modify the microscope using duct illumination field. Alright, which is the hasilnya nanti you akan dapati the background is gelap aja. Tiba-tiba nampak tali telefon bergerak dalam medan yang gelap tu. That is Treponema pallidum. Alright, so that is on how you can visible using duct field illumination microscope. Okay. VDRL test for serology. VDRL is venereal disease research laboratory test. Venereal disease research laboratory test. Try to look at in the internet what is VDRL. And also TPHA test untuk mobilization. TPHA is Treponema pallidum hemagglutination assay. Alright, so you can read it from any sources. Fluorescent Treponema antibody absorption. Okay, also another test, AHBS. Treatmentnya adalah benzathine penicillin. Okay, easy to cure in early stage. That is why saya kata tadi, okay, kalau you dapat detect awal-awal, by penicillin pun dah cukup. Alright, mungkin dalam masa 1 ke 2 minggu, 7 ke 14 hari pun dah okay. Alright, sekiranya ada patient yang penicillin allergic, basically kita akan minta dia makan doxycycline and tetracycline. Dan sekali lagi you ada ceftriaxone, okay, for neurosyphilis yang menyebabkan neuro, okay, apabila CNS involved dalam hal kalau dia boleh penetrate sampai ke lymphatic ataupun CNS, you might having a ceftriaxone. No vaccine available. Alright, prevention. Okay, be monogamous. Avoid free and unprotected activity, sex activity. Avoid recreational drug. Apa itu recreational drug? Pil kuda. Itu recreational drug lah. Okay, pil-pil ataupun dadah-dadah yang menjurus atau mendorong awak untuk melakukan sexual activities yang tak elok. Alright, avoid recreational drugs. Alright, pil kuda, pil haya, gam, semua-semua itulah. Okay, infected legal partners. Okay, latex barrier, condom and dental dams during intercourse. Macam saya kata tadi, we basically only practicing using condom and not dental dams. Okay, we almost towards the end. Okay, Brucella. Okay, so Brucella is a small size intracellular bacteria which is up to 1 micrometer, survive its extreme pH, humidity, and in frozen and aborted materials. Brucella seperti ada 2 spesies yang selalu obvious, yang selalu kita itu adalah Brucella melitensis, Brucella melitensis and also Brucella abortus, yang menyebabkan sejenis penyakit we call it as brucellosis, sejenis penyakit zoonosis. Kalau zoonosis ni you kena tahu lah apa maksud dia zoonosis, right? So mode of transmission sudah. So mode of transmission adalah ingesting contaminated food such as unpasteurized milk product, Direct contact, which is farmers, slaughterhouse workers, and veterinarian with infected animals seperti milk, urine, and genital organs. Ini kita panggil this by occupational disease. Also can be inhalation of the aerosol among lab workers, okay, which is it might lead to the highly recognizable species to be manipulated sebagai biological weapon, okay. Transmission human to human seperti sexual intercourse, blood transfusion, and transplacental is very rare, but secara logiknya dia possible can happen. Alright. Minimum ID ataupun infectious dose adalah between 10 to 100 milligram. Milligram lah pula. Is between 10 to 100 organism. Bermakna it is a very highly infectious lah. Okay, you only need 10 cells of Brucella saja to initiate the infection. Can you imagine that? Okay, 10 cells saja dah cukup untuk menyebabkan you dapat brucellosis. Gambar orang tu adalah saya. Tak adalah. Itu adalah Sir David Bruce, a Scottish microbiologist and pathologist who first isolated Brucella malaitensis from a British soldier who died due to Malta fever in Malta. Okay, Malta sebuah negara. Okay, so dia telah discovered Brucella malaitensis daripada seorang askar British yang mati akibat penyakit Malta fever. Ketika itu dia menyebabkan penyakit fever saja. Sehinggalah selepas beberapa evolusi dan research yang dilakukan, kita panggil penyakit itu sebagai brucellosis. Alright. So human generally have 2 to 4 weeks latency period before exhibiting symptoms post exposures. Sign and symptoms seperti undulating fever. Undulating fever adalah demam yang on and off, sekejap ada, sekejap tak ada. Undulating fever, alright, okay. Seminggu 3 hari demam, 3 hari baik. 2 hari demam, 3 hari baik. 4 hari demam, 5 hari baik. Macam tu lah, dia on and off, alright. And then headache, night sweat, awak ada yang lain lah, fatigue and nausea. Complication is arthritis, spondylitis, okay, neurobuccellosis, liver abscess, endocarditis, potentially can be fatal. Alright. Human and animal brucellosis share the persistence of the bacteria in tissues of the phagocyte system, including spleen, liver, lymph nodes, and also bone marrow. Okay, diagnosis: blood culture, bone marrow biopsy, PCR, and ELISA. Because Brucella malaitensis adalah organism yang boleh mengeluarkan atau menghasilkan urease. So when you do urease when you do urease test terhadap brucellosis, dia akan positif. Okay, this is very crucial for you to differentiate antara Brucella dan Salmonella yang kita dah belajar minggu lepas. Okay, because Salmonella urease test dia adalah negatif. Alright, and then dia punya treatment. Alright, so itu saja tentang brucellosis. What I want you to know about brucellosis adalah dia adalah sejenis penyakit zoonotic. Okay. Leptospira. Okay, ingat balik your first PBL session dulu. 3 minggu yang lepas. Alright, 3 minggu atau 4 minggu yang lepas. Okay, leptospirosis. The peptido, okay, one species investor adalah Leptospira interrogans. The peptidoglycan layer is associated with the cytoplasmic rather than the outer membrane. Okay, so it is a unique arrangement of spirochete. Alright, so it is basically sama saja seperti Treponema pallidum tadi, yang ada yang ada endoflagella dekat kawasan periplasmic space tu. Alright. And then dia punya morphology juga sama dengan Treponema pallidum sebab dia adalah spiral. Okay, ini adalah Leptospira interrogans. Okay, nampak perkataan dia spiral. Dia ada spiral sama seperti Treponema pallidum yang menyebabkan syphilis tadi. Alright. Thin morphology best to observe by dark field microscope. Sama juga macam mana you nak observe Treponema pallidum tadi, dark field microscope. Alright. Can occupy diverse environment, habitats and life cycle found worldwide except Antarctica. Of course, Antarctica ni susah bagi bakteria nak hidup because terlalu sejuk. Basically, susah jarang you dapat daripada Antarctica kecuali ada satu dua spesies seperti uh, okay. Haemophilus aquatus, tak ingatlah saya. Adalah spesies-spesies tertentu yang boleh adapt dengan suhu negatif bawah suhu beku. High humidity, neutral pH, and stagnant water reservoir, okay, are necessary for the survival for Leptospira. Oh, this is not N, this is can, sorry. Can be in vivo culture, alright? Can be in vitro cultured at 30 degrees Celsius, Eling-Wilson, McCollum, Johnson Harris, EMJH medium. Special medium yang digunakan untuk if you want to culture Leptospira interrogans, okay, with supplement of 0.21% of rabbit serum. Ingat good things about Leptospira interrogans in terms of lab culture, you boleh culture di dalam lab by having EMGH medium yang dikayakan dengan 0.21% of rabbit serum. Berbanding dengan Treponema pallidum tadi, dia totally depend to the host nutrient. So it's very hard for you to Treponema pallidum to be cultured in the lab because dia perlukan mammalian nutrient. So Leptospira interrogans, walaupun dia mempunyai similarities in terms of morphology, in terms of how you want to diagnose it, alright, dia boleh culture, tetapi dengan syarat you kena ada EMGH medium, alright. So major carbon and energy source during in vitro growth adalah long chain fatty acid which are metabolized by beta oxidation, menyebabkan dia adalah sejenis aerobes. They will require ferrum for growth, which is they obtain from iron. They are obtained iron from the heme in the human body. Awak tahu apa ni, red blood cell in human body mengandungi heme, okay, sebagai one of the element for oxygen transporting throughout your body, right? So Leptospira can be found in mana-mana sumber yang berair, okay, di environment awak, okay, baik di paya, di sungai, even di tapak-tapak yang berlopak-lopak di tengah jalan. Sekarang ni musim banjir ni, bahaya okay. Sawah padi, tasik, even di kolam yang awak pelihara air ikan emas, ikan apa-apa semua ni, alright. So you name it, okay, apa-apa saja kawasan yang berair, okay, Leptospira probably ada kat situ, okay. Tambah lagi kalau ada aktiviti manusia yang menyebabkan kawasan sekitar tu kotor, okay, seperti taman rekreasi biasanya. Taman rekreasi ada air terjun, ada fountain, ada waterfall, and ada orang menjual kerupuk lekor kat tepi apa semua tu, okay. Okay, bila kat situ ada, then probably akan ada potential that the population of rats or any rodents will be found on the areas. So apa yang berlaku adalah tikus-tikus itu mungkin akan mengeluar air kencing yang mengandungi Leptospira. So it's very orang kata dangerous. You can see on how Leptospira can be spreaded, alright. Rodents is the commonest animal that spread the disease to human. Okay, rat and mice primarily adalah primary host. However, other mammals seperti dogs, deer, rabbits, hedgehogs, cows, sheep, swine, raccoons, skunks can also carry and transmit the disease as a secondary host. Often transmitted by animal urine, water, or soil containing the animal urine, coming into contact with break in the skin, eyes, mouth, nose. Okay, in developing countries, commonly occurs in farmers and low-income people. In developed countries, commonly occurs in those involved in outdoor activities in warm and wet areas. Okay. So, in developing countries seperti di Malaysia ni, okay, commonly occurs di kalangan petani-petani, peladang, and low income people, because kita tengok dia punya lifestyle dekat situ mungkin tak hygiene apa semua, dan kemungkinan ada rodents kat situ. Manakala di developed country, negara-negara yang maju, commonly occurs di kalangan population dia because they are involved in outdoors activity, camping, backpacking, okay, and then dia pergi kawasan yang wet area, air terjun apa semua tu, okay. So two different scenario, okay, in two different regions, right? So whatever it is, apa saja yang menyebabkan rats, rodents, apa saja yang menyebabkan kawasan yang berair, you might have leptospirosis. Alright. So the incident correlates directly with the amount of rainfall, making the seasonal in temperate climates. And leptospirosis also can be transmitted via the semen of infected animals. Alright. So ini adalah animal-animal yang menyebabkan you mungkin boleh menjadi carrier kepada ataupun reservoir kepada the spreading of the leptospirosis. Alright. Skunk, even pigs, alright, rodents, macam lah. Okay, this one I think this is landak ni, alright, porcupine dan sebagainya. Anything ataupun any animals group under the group of rodents mungkin boleh terjadi. Also common among water sport ectasias in specific area, as prolonged exposure in water promotes the entry of this bacterium. So occupation at risk basically apa sesiapa yang bekerja sebagai veterinarian, slaughterhouse workers, farmers, sailors on rivers, rowers, kayakers, okay. So be careful, kayakers, waste disposal facility workers and so on. You might have a potential to get leptospirosis as an occupation at risk. Alright. Slaughterhouse workers can contract diseases through contact with infected blood or body fluid. Incubation period, okay, up to 12 days. Sign and symptoms dia adalah fever accompanied by chills, intensive myalgia, headache, abdominal pain, conjunctiva, and skin rash. Complication, meningitis, kidney failure, hearing loss, fatal. Diagnosis, okay, fatal tu jangan terkejut orang yang dapat leptospirosis mati kerana kencing tikus. Alright, that is why fatal boleh berlaku Okay, diagnosis, ELISA, PCR, and MET, which is microscopic agglutination test. Treatment, prevention, okay, tengok prevention, effective control and avoidance of urine contaminated water source. Human vaccine are available only for a few countries, alright. So human vaccine against leptospirosis ni hanya available dekat beberapa negara, termasuk dekat Malaysia, tapi kita bagi priority kepada mereka yang high risk, seperti mereka yang bekerja sebagai veterinarian, slaughterhouse workers, farmers and so on. Because sehingga kita dah lebih prone untuk dapat jangkitan ini. Alright. So see, pekerja-pekerja yang biasanya ataupun aktiviti yang biasanya prone untuk dapat leptospirosis. Pekerja di kawasan tapak pelupusan sampah, which is probably ada tikus kat sini. Farmers, kayakers, rowers, pekerja slaughterhouse. This one ni siapa kerja yang penggali tanah kubur ni? Okay, they can also be infected. Okay, potentially can be infected because air kecing tikus ada di kawasan yang lepak-lepak, ada juga di kawasan air bawah tanah. So be careful, alright? Okay, rickettsia. I think this is the second last rickettsia. I hope so. Okay, yeah, I think so. Yeah, rickettsia. Okay. InsyaAllah kita habis buku 11. Okay. Rickettsia, named after Sir Howard Tyrrell Ricketts. Okay, rickettsia survival depend on entry, growth, and replication within the cytoplasm of eukaryotic host cells. Cannot live artificially neutral environment. Okay. So biasanya awak tak dapat nak growth in the lab. Growth either in the tissue of embryo culture, typically chicken embryos lah, alright. Transmitted by many types of arthropods, which is chiggers, ticks, fleas, and lice. So apabila awak ambil pathway diagnostik masa tahun 3 nanti, awak akan belajar entomology, you akan belajar semua ni. Kutu, flea, sengkenit, apa ni, hama, apa semua, you akan belajar semua ni. Okay. Okay, so mereka semua ni adalah pembawa vektor kepada rickettsia, bacteria rickettsia. Rickettsia species are the pathogen responsible for various disease. Okay, sign and symptom adalah fever, headache, malaria, okay, fatigue, apa semua. No vaccine available for rickettsia. Prevention, wear long sleeve clothing and broad brim hat to reduce the risk of infection. Mengapa awak kena pakai prevention dia? Awak kena pakai pakaian long sleeve dan juga topi yang ada macam apa kita panggil, topi yang macam zaman Jepun dulu tu, yang ada pelindung kat belakang leher awak tu. Alright, because kita nak elak daripada ini hama, kutu dengan apa semua tu hinggap kat badan awak, atas kulit awak. Alright, because mereka membawa bacteria rickettsia, okay, di dalam perut mereka. Okay, so kita tak dapat nak elak rickettsia tu, because rickettsia tu berada dalam perut mereka. Jadi untuk nak elak tu, awak elak daripada awak dihinggapi oleh serangga-serangga ni. That's why your prevention is more to memakai pakaian yang lengan panjang, apa semua. Kalau you masuk hutan, kalau you meredah apa ni, lalang, apa semua tu lah. Right? So based on serology, rickettsia can be classified into 3 groups, which is spotted fever, typhus, and scrub typhus. Alright? So ini adalah jenis-jenis serangga yang biasa awak akan dapat. Ini adalah kutu flea, I think so, kutu pada rambut. Okay, ini adalah hama yang biasa terdapat pada lalang, apa semua. So mereka semua adalah pembawa kepada rickettsia. Okay, you will learn about this serangga or insect in entomology. Okay, it's a very nice subject for you to know. Okay, because mereka dekat dengan kehidupan kita. Okay, one thing about rickettsia is, tengok statement pertama. Rickettsia do not cause ricket. Apa nak dengar perkataan penyakit ricket, sejenis vitamin D deficiency. Alright, so ricket, sejenis penyakit vitamin D deficiency, is not caused by bacteria rickettsia. Alright, ricket tu lain, rickettsia tu lain. Alright, so rickettsia do not cause ricket, sejenis vitamin D deficiency, but mostly rickettsia species, rickettsia tu sejenis bakteria, are susceptible to antibiotic of tetracycline. So basically bila orang dapat penyakit-penyakit yang disebabkan oleh rickettsia, senang saja. Kalau you dapat detect awal, kita bagi tetracycline. Apa benda ni? Sebagai your first line antibiotic. Alright? So other than that, you might have a prophylactic antibiotic seperti doxycycline or chloramphenicol, and also rifamycin. Ingat, maksud prophylactic antibiotik adalah antibiotik yang awak makan sebelum awak pergi di kawasan yang terdedah dengan rickettsia. So bila awak tahu minggu depan atau 2 minggu akan datang awak nak masuk hutan, so let's say ayah awak tu lah askar ke apa semua, balak ke apa semua, bila nak masuk hutan 2 minggu sebelum tu awak dah makan dah, ayah awak dah makan dah doxycycline atau chloramphenicol sebagai prophylactic. Okay, obat yang you makan sebelum you pergi di kawasan yang terdedah. So seperti yang saya kata tadi, rickettsia boleh menyebabkan macam-macam penyakit. Okay, so R2 rickettsia tu, lepas tu nama spesies. Okay, rickettsia susugamushi menyebabkan scrub typhus. Okay, rickettsia rickettsii akan menyebabkan Rocky Mountain spotted fever. Rickettsia acari will cause rickettsial pox. Rickettsia australis akan menyebabkan Equestrian tick-bite typhus. Rickettsia africae akan menyebabkan African tick-bite fever. Rickettsia prowazekii menyebabkan endemic typhus. Rickettsia typhi menyebabkan murine typhus, and Rickettsia japonica menyebabkan oriental spotted fever. So because we have so many species of rickettsia, dan dia apa benda dia worldwide distributed, so macam-macam penyakit dia boleh bawa. Alright, depend kepada spesies and depend kepada negara mana dia berada. So kalau nampak dekat situ ada Japan, ada Afrika, ada Australia. So macam-macam lah. Alright. Yang biasa berlaku adalah rickettsia sugamushi lah yang biasa. Alright, scrub capers because dia berlaku di mana-mana sahaja. Alright. Francisella. Bukan Francisca Francisella. Okay. So, found in 1992 by American bacteriologist Edward Francis. So, you can see the name of the genus tu dah diambil daripada nama ayah dia, Edward Francis. Alright. It can cause tularemia, also known as rabbit fever. Difficult to culture and maintain in the laboratory. Dia adalah fastidious. Okay, most species require system that supplemented in media seperti chocolate agar and also tire multimedium untuk perkembangan dia. After 24 hours of incubation, the colonies are generally small, 1 to 2 mm, opaque and white grey or bluish grey in color. Dia untuk initiate the disease, they have a very low ID, easy to spread aerosol, bioaerosol and highly virulent. So basically Francisella tularensis akan boleh kita manipulate dia sebagai potential agent for bioterrorism. You dah belajar Yersinia pestis, apa benda ni, Bacillus anthracis, and then of course you boleh belajar dalam Ebola juga. Mereka semua other than Francisella tularensis boleh dimanipulasi untuk dijadikan sebagai senjata biologi. So basically bila sebut senjata biologi ni they will involve in peperangan lah. Okay. It has been reported in birds, reptiles, fish, invertebrates and also mammals. Alright. So mode of transmission adalah contact with infected animals seperti tick and also mosquitoes. So again sekali lagi ia melibatkan serangga sebagai contact ataupun vectors dia. Alright. No case of tularemia initiated by human to human transmission. Setakat ini tiada lagi case yang disebabkan oleh human to human. Basically apa yang dilaporkan hanya melalui vector sahaja. Okay, iaitu ticks and also mosquitoes. Portals of entry, ingat balik you belajar principle microbiology. Portal of entry adalah tempat-tempat di mana bakteria boleh masuk ke dalam badan ni. Okay, pathogen masuk ke dalam badan ni. Basically through blood, respiratory system and skin contact. Alright, inhalation of bacteria akan menyebabkan potentially liver pneumonia, pneumonic tularemia. Other routes might be oropharyngeal yang disebabkan oleh consumption of contaminated food, and also conjunctival yang disebabkan oleh inoculation at the eye. Okay, so dia boleh berlaku kalau masuk melalui mata juga. Alright. And then capable of surviving outside of the mammal host for weeks and infect most of cell types, but primarily infect macrophage that occurs by phagocytosis. Alright. They also break out this phagosome and then you masuk into cytosol and rapidly proliferates. Alright. So here what I want to show you adalah the mode ataupun the portal of entry. They might enter your body via your eyes, alright, also oropharyngeals, alright, melalui mulut atau melalui apa yang you makan. Okay. This one is on how you can grow it in the laboratory or the media, alright, and this one is after you doing the gram staining. Okay. Eventually, the infected cell undergoes apoptosis. Awak dah belajar ke apoptosis dalam immunology? Apoptosis. Okay.
Dah.
Saya rasa you dah been exposed
Dah belajar tak?
dalam immunology kalau tak salah saya. Okay. Then the progeny bacteria are released to initiate the new rounds of infection. Diagnosis based on the symptoms, alright. So basically apabila you pergi jumpa doktor, alright, untuk you tak mendapatkan nasihat daripada doktor, you kena cerita patient histories. Ke mana you pergi, apa yang you makan, apa semua, you kena tell everything. So, okay, in terms of, in order for the doctor to diagnose rightly, okay, because Francisella tularensis ni dia mode of transmission ni banyak, okay, so you kena beritahu ke mana pergi, siapa contact you, apa yang dia makan, semua sekali. Alright, and then you have a treatment, preventing bites from tick, fleas and mosquitoes, use repellents. Okay, repellents tu tahu obat yang you sapu pada kulit you tu untuk mencegah daripada dihinggapi oleh serangga lah. Ensuring that all foods is cooked thoroughly, refrain from drinking untreated water, okay, PPE in laboratory, alright, alat perlindungan diri. Kita ada vaksin, live attenuated vaccine untuk high risk individual seperti lab workers, army, forestry workers, alright. So ini adalah mereka yang berpotensi. Live attenuated vaccine ni maksudnya vaksin yang mengandungi pathogen di dalam tu yang masih hidup tetapi telah dilemahkan. Alright. So banyak jenis vaksin, ada jenis berapa jenis, okay, macam live attenuated vaccine, lepas tu dead attenuated vaccine, apa semua macam-macam lah. Alright. So that's why kadang-kadang ada golongan anti-vaksin tu, okay. Orang golongan anti-vaksin tu mereka mengatakan dia tak percaya dengan live attenuated vaccine because dia kata lama-kelamaan vaksin yang masuk dalam badan kita tu yang dah dilemahkan tu akan jadi aktif balik, which is scientifically tidak dibuktikan lah. Alright. So basically live attenuated vaccine, what you have to know is that vaccine yang mengandung pathogen di dalam tu yang masih hidup tapi telah dilemahkan. Okay. Dilemahkan tu bermaksudnya kita telah bunuh semua virulence factors dia. Okay, kita telah buang semua virulence factors tu, bermakna dia ada hidup dalam tu tetapi tak boleh buat apa-apa lah because dalam badan ni tak boleh buat apa-apa because they already been removed dia punya virulence factors. So dia nak serang your cell pun tak dapat because virulence factors dia tak ada. Okay, so to initiate antibody to be produced in your body, cukup sekadar sel tu saja ada pun dah cukup, alright, tanpa virulence factors, okay, because once sel tu dah dimatikan atau dilemahkan, ia dikira sebagai pathogen, alright, tanpa, then your antibody akan produce. Okay, saya rasa itu saja for today. Okay, apa benda ni, I want you to know something, okay, about your mid-sem exam. Dr. Hana ni kata mid-sem exam awak on 30th. Ada dia cakap ke? Pada 30 hari bulan? Your mid-sem exam. Ada tak dia cakap bila? Hello?
Rasanya tak ada.
Tak ada. Okey, tak apalah. Saya tak pasti. Tetapi saya rasa your mid-sem exam somewhere pada minggu itulah, antara 30 hari bulan tu, tak salah saya hari Isnin sampai ke 4 hari bulan. Sampai ke 4 hari bulan sampai ke 4 hari bulan 12. Awak akan diadakan dengan mid-sem exam. Soalan apa dia?
Tak ada.
Okey, soalan daripada saya meliputi 3 lecture yang saya telah bagi. Bakteria 2, bakteria 3 dan hari ini bakteria 4. Saya ada satu lagi lecture iaitu Microbacteria dan Chlamydia pada minggu depan. Tapi itu akan masuk final exam. Okey, boleh faham
Okey.
Okey, so untuk bahagian saya, antara topik yang paling banyak keluar dalam mid-sem awak nanti. Okey, saya tak tahu awak bulan tengok pengumuman daripada Dr. Hana ni. So topik saya hanya bagi untuk daripada 3 topik itu saja. Okey, bakteria 2, bakteria 3, bakteria 4 hari ini. Untuk topik minggu depan akan masuk final. Okey. So saya punya soalan contribute banyak markah juga. But somehow saya tak keluarkan lagi soalan tu, saya tak buat lagi soalan. Saya kena struggle sekarang ni nak buat soalan. So saya tidak memerlukan awak baca additional sources untuk tajuk saya. Okay. Tapi it will be good for you in terms of you nak elaborate your answer because apa benda ni saya tak akan keluarkan